Alright, I'll be playing the Hijack Overdrive demo. I'm the developer, Steven Krijnest. You can follow me on Twitter at GamingStuff or at Hijack Overdrive. Alright, let's get started. I'll just quickly test the stream. While you can watch this video that plays on the start screen when you just leave it. Alright, quickly gonna test if everything is alright. Watch this video. Okay, everything seems fine. Sorry about that. Alright, let's get started. So here we see some scenes from the demo as well as some scenes that aren't in the demo. What you're seeing now is actually what you just saw was the final mission in the demo, which is the first boss fight in the game. What you see now isn't in the demo, but it's a later mission where you have, well, tanks with reflective lasers and turrets with reflective lasers, so there are quite a few different things later on in the game than in the demo, obviously. Alright, let's get started. I'm gonna choose new game on normal difficulty.
We are losing the war. The enemy's forces vastly outnumber our own. We cannot hope to prevail by facing them head-on. That's why I propose a different strategy. We've trained our best pilots to turn our enemy's forces against them. By hijacking their vessels and employing our new portable autopilot modules, she'll turn their numbers against them. This is how we'll win the war.
Alright, so we start with the tutorial, obviously. We can run around, we can jump, we can double jump using our jetpack. So what we just saw was a video explaining the situation, basically. So we're fighting the enemy, we're severely, well, outnumbered by the enemy. So the plan is for me to hijack enemy vehicles and use these to fight back. Alright, so the thing about this game is I can hijack any and all vehicles and turrets. Right now I'm just dodging enemy fire here, just so I can explain things. So I can jump on turrets or just stand in front of it, and then with one button press I hijack it, throw out the pilot, and then I can control this turret in this case. So here we go. And when I exit a turret or vehicle, I place an autopilot module, which makes it keep firing, and also in case of a vehicle, it just keeps driving forward. That way I can, well, basically keep it with me, and have multiple vehicles or turrets fight the enemy at the same time. So basically, you go around and hijack vehicles, and then basically build a small fleet that you use to fight the enemy. But you'll see now. So yeah, see, you have a lot of firepower when you steal a number of vehicles instead of just one. So while this looks like a shoot 'em up, and in part it is, you don't... Oh, I just wanted to jump and I pressed to close the objective there. So what she just said was, we have a mission objective for this, well, in this tutorial, and it is to hijack or destroy 6 turrets. So that's all the turrets in the area, so I have to make sure that I don't miss any. Just pause it here so you can see it. Alright, so, like I was saying, you generally don't play this like a normal shoot 'em up, in that you don't stay in one vehicle, because one vehicle isn't very powerful most of the time. There are, later on in the game, there are quite a few strong vehicles, and some missions play more like a regular shoot 'em up, but for the most part, you'll wanna, well, obtain a number of vehicles, so that you can fight the enemy with a small fleet instead of a single vehicle. Because as you can see now, a lot of firepower is on our side. While if you just stay in one vehicle, as you can see, it doesn't really fire that rapidly, so you won't be able to defeat the enemy with just one small vehicle. So the thing here I can do, I place these ships there, and you can see on the right side of the screen that a turret is incoming there. And that way, the ships that I place there will shoot the turret while the enemy is basically focusing on me, on Jane here, the pilot. So anyway, that's a useful tactic to do. Alright, we completed this tutorial, so now it's time for the real deal. So every vehicle we acquire, we hijack in a mission, and that survives the mission, will be added to the garage. So now I have these 6 ships you see in the background, and these will be added to my garage, which I can then use later on. So for the story, we're fighting the tyrannical ruler Alistair Valdez, so we're basically part of a small resistance. And he has become obsessed with the mythical Omega crystals. These grant him ultimate power, and they are locked away in the monster realm. Which is a place we can't just reach normally. And so Alistair Valdez is looking for the gate stone to find a way into the monster realm. So we have to stop him before he can do that. And basically we have to get to the monster realm and acquire the Omega crystals before he can. Alright, so let me quickly first show the garage, because we've added these 6 vehicles there now. Later on in the game we can use these, we can build some new ones, we can dismantle them for parts, we can send them to high command, which is just a way to increase your rating if you need to. And we can do challenge missions, which are unique missions for each vehicle type. But I'll show that later. So let's do the first mission. You may have noticed that it said at the bottom of the description that there's an objective, and that is to hijack or destroy 20 vehicles or turrets. So you can also always see the objective on the pause screen, as well as on the top right corner of the screen during the game. You can see, well, the number of, well, if you've completed the objective or not, and how many you have to, how many are left. So most of the time, basically your objective is to, well, basically take care of the enemy's military assets. So basically by hijacking or destroying a bunch of their vehicles and turrets. But sometimes it's different. Alright, so you may have also noticed that I sometimes dance on vehicles. That is a way to increase your rating. But of course you're a sitting duck when you do that. You can only do that on vehicles. And of course when you're inside a vehicle, you can't get damaged until your vehicle is destroyed, of course. But when you dance on top, or just when you're standing on top, you of course can get damaged. So you should only dance when it's safe to do so, basically, because you also gain a lot of bonus points at the end of a mission based on how many health. Well, basically on how much damage you avoided. So it's always better to stay healthy than to try to increase your rating by dancing and then getting shot. So you may notice now I place ships so that they can shoot turrets, and then I quickly get out. That's a good tactic in general. Most enemies will either just shoot straight forward or aim at the player character herself. So it's often a good idea to lure enemy fire away from your own fleet, basically. So you place a vehicle so that it will shoot enemies, and then you get out of there so that your vehicles aren't targeted, basically. And then of course you still have to dodge enemy fire yourself, otherwise you'll die. But that's a good tactic in general to keep your own fleet alive. Of course, you'll, you know, as you can see, your own vehicles, they get destroyed very quickly. So you basically constantly have to run around and acquire new vehicles. It's a fine balance you have to try to look for between, you know, playing defense and offense. You want to have a couple of vehicles on your side, but you of course you have to, you know, make sure that you don't die while trying to hijack vehicles. Okay, so we got these new vehicles here, and we found a mysterious new thingy in this enemy base. So while it looks like a gate stone, it doesn't seem to be active. So later on, we'll find a way to awaken this sleeping crystal, and then we can get into the monster on ourselves. All right. So that now that we've completed this first mission, we have some more vehicles in our garage, this tank, as well as some more of these ones. And we've also unlocked this vehicle challenge, but we aren't going to do that yet. I'll show that later. So now that we can do mission 2 or 3, I'll start with mission 2. Alright. So this one is clearly in a place full of lava. So basically this mission starts off with a platforming sequence for the most, mainly. So basically you'll have to jump around, don't fall into the lava, try to avoid enemy fire, you know, hijack turrets, either have them shoot the other turrets or just, you know, hijack them to take them out. So let me show you what happens when you jump in the lava. It's not an instant death. In fact, if you jump out really quickly, you don't take that much damage. But if you stay in there for a long time, then you quickly lose health. So as you can see here, I make sure that that I'm aiming at an enemy with the turret, and then I get out. Ah, that's unfortunate. Let me just steal it then. Of course, if you first shoot at an enemy and then steal it, then you're left with a damaged vehicle. As you can see here, don't know if you noticed, but you can see the vehicle's health below your own health. So the green bar at the bottom is my health, and the blue bar is my vehicle's health, when I'm either inside the vehicle or standing on top of it. If it's red like it is now, it's an enemy vehicle, so when I hijack it, it becomes blue. So you may have noticed that there's less and less ground here, so I gotta make sure that I have some vehicles so that I don't fall in the lava. Another thing you may notice, or that may not be that apparent, is when a vehicle is on fire. Well, it makes sense, but when a vehicle is on fire, it means it's almost broken. When it has 2 fires, it means that a single shot will destroy it. So that's useful to know. If it's on fire and it's 2 fires, then you gotta be careful, because then it will blow up from the least damage it takes. So as you can see here, there's barely any ground to stand on. So luckily I have these vehicles. Gotta watch out for this turret there, because there's no way for me at the moment to attack it. So hijacking is the best strategy there. Alright, so I'm at the end of this level. Mission complete. Got an A rank. And some new vehicles. Alright. And now we can actually use the vehicles in the garage in our missions. So we got a bunch of vehicles here. By the end of the game, you can basically fill up the entire garage you see here. So you can see every vehicle you own, and this place will be completely filled up. So I'll show you. So now we have unlocked mission 3 and mission 5. Because I have an A rank and I have quite a good score, that basically adds up to my rating. And if because my rating is high enough, I can do mission 5. But later on in the game, you need higher ratings to be able to do missions. So if your rating isn't high enough, you can come back and redo missions to increase your rating, or you can do vehicle challenges to increase your rating, or you can send vehicles when requested. But as you can see at the right side of the screen there are no vehicles requested at the moment. Alright, so I'm going to do mission 3 now. So as you can see now I can select the starting vehicle. But I'm not gonna do that now because for these first missions that isn't really necessary. So I'll just start without one. Just start on foot. So you can see it starts kinda easy. This mission, but it's later on in the mission, this one especially becomes really hectic. So it starts off real simple, makes you practice with the tank. The tank is quite a strong vehicle. Like I said before, that most vehicles you can't really fight the enemy properly by just staying in one vehicle, but with a tank you can often do that. Of course, big downside of the tank is that it can't fly, and so that also means that when an enemy is coming straight for you, there is pretty much no way to avoid getting shot. Okay, but the thing about this level, as you can see here, is that you may see the icons of a ship at the top of the screen. These are bombers and they drop bombs. So basically here you have to watch out where they are and avoid driving into these bombs. So see, I lost the tank there. Of course, as you have noticed, I've placed my tanks so that they aim upward. And this makes me able to shoot the bombs before they reach me. And in some cases I can even just reach the bombers themselves to avoid getting damaged. So now I have a bomber myself. That's what they look like. Very useful because it's quite strong. So now that I have... I wanted to say now that I have 2 bombers there, barely anything will survive flying through that. But one immediately got destroyed. See? It's already taking out a lot of vehicles quite easily. Now with my tanks there. But as you see now, I'm entering the enemy base. So enemy starts to have a lot more vehicles. But yeah, my vehicles take them out before I can even hijack them, so... But that will quickly change. See, I already lost my 2 bombers and now I barely have any vehicles. There, now I barely have any vehicles left. Alright. Luckily there are some health crystals here. Alright. Gotta pay attention to the enemy indicators at the right to see what is coming. I mainly hijacked the tank because it was shooting my vehicles there, even though I knew that it was almost dead. Right, gotta be careful here. Don't know if I'm gonna place the ship there. Oh no, I wanted to have the bomber survive the level, but unfortunately it got blown up before I had the chance to... And now my tank is destroyed. Right, I'm just gonna place it like this, and then get... There we go. And then I'm gonna try to... I missed. Right, 1 shot, there we go. Alright, mission complete. With an S rank this time, alright, it's quite good. Well, that's the best rank you can have, basically. So... But of course, I'm used to this game, and these first levels aren't that difficult if you know how to play the game. It can be quite difficult for a lot of people, because it plays so differently than what they're used to. So while it looks like a regular side-scroller, a regular shoot-'em-up, it plays very differently. You really have to know how to, well, understand how to play the game. Especially later on in the game, of course. These first missions are more forgiving than the later ones. Alright, so now we've unlocked mission 4 as well. This didn't used to be in the demo, so this is a new one in the demo. Which introduces yet another new thing, which is toxic gas, which makes you... Yeah, you have to play a bit differently there. So let me show you. I'm not going to use the starting vehicle again. Like I said before, it isn't really all that useful or necessary in these first missions. And of course you can't just... It's not unlimited. I mean, it's just... It uses a vehicle from your garage, so if it gets blown up, then you've lost that vehicle. Unless, of course, if you restart the mission... basically, if you fail a mission, every vehicle that you used from your garage will be back in your garage, because it's basically like when you fail a mission, it's like it never happened. So basically, when you use a vehicle from your garage and you fail, it's like that never happened. So here at the right side of the screen, we see a force field, which is holding the toxic air back. And once we are inside the toxic air, then we take damage if we're not inside a vehicle. Well, you may have noticed the purple bar at the bottom of the screen. It's only when that's filled up that we start taking damage. So we have a little bit of time, like a second, before we take damage. So you can quickly, if you're very quick, you can hijack some more vehicles. But basically, when you're inside this toxic air, you should try to stay inside vehicles as much as you can. And when you approach toxic area, you should make sure that you have a bunch of vehicles, and preferably you are inside the stone one. So I'm gonna quickly steal this tank. Like, if I'm quick, I can move around without taking damage. So like, I can go in here up, and that's fine. But see, I wasn't quick enough there. But I only took a little bit of damage, luckily. Alright, so I gotta be careful here. But I'm doing fine here. Oh. So, another thing that is very useful, which I'm not doing a good job at the moment, is you can, when a vehicle is about, or has a, basically when a vehicle can shoot, when it has recharged its shot, then you can see a small red glow near its gun. So you can even see that on my own vehicle here. That means that I can shoot. So that's very useful if you wanna perfectly time your shot. If you see the red light, then you know you can shoot immediately. But the same counts for the enemy. So when you see a red glow on the enemy's vehicle, then it will shoot in like a half a second or something. So you should pay attention to that, and you should, when you're jumping in front of enemy vehicles, like I've done that a couple of times, that I should have paid more attention. Like I'm trying to steal a tank and I'll just jump in front of it, but right when I do so, it shoots, so I take a lot of damage. So paying attention to the shooting indicator, or I don't know how I call it, the red glow near the enemy's gun. Yeah, paying attention to that will allow you to take less damage, basically. Okay, it's quite difficult for me to play and then play well and explain everything properly at the same time. It's can be quite a hectic game. Like, you have to pay attention to a lot of things at the same time. Of course, like I said before, in these first missions, it's not that difficult, for me at least. If you're not used to the game, like I said before, then it can be quite difficult. Alright, so we have a bunch of vehicles here now, and oh, for the first time now, they've requested vehicles. So they want one tank, which I'll send, and that gives me 300 extra points for my rating. And one bomber, but I didn't manage to steal one yet, so that will have to wait for later. So now we can see that my rating increased by 300. But yeah, the only mission left is mission 5, and I have already, my rating is high enough. That's what I wanted to say. But let me quickly show you a vehicle challenge. So I'm gonna do the challenge for this vehicle. So a vehicle challenge is a revisit of a previous completed mission, with the change that you can't, or you can only use that specific vehicle type. So in this case, it's mission 1 again, and you can only use these straight shooters. So what that means is that you should try to steal as much as you can of these, and that you can't hijack any other vehicles. So you gotta be careful, because in some... Okay, see, I didn't pay attention to the red glow. Like, here you can see the red glow better. You see the vehicle I'm in, at the top of the screen has a red glow, and then it can shoot immediately. You see that it has to recharge for a short second. So, and you see I can't steal this one, because it's a vehicle challenge. Alright, gotta be more careful here. And I'm not being more careful. Alright, so that makes the tank here very difficult, because it's quite strong. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna avoid it. Alright, lost a lot of vehicles here already. Okay, see, I took care of the tank because my ship was at the bottom there. Right, you shouldn't just try to avoid enemies, because you still have to complete the objective, so you have to destroy enough vehicles. Okay, it was hard to avoid getting shot there. Alright. So, now these turrets are a bit troublesome, because I can't hijack them, so I have to be careful with my vehicles, but by quickly placing them properly, I can take care of them easily. Oh, even though I already lost 2 vehicles there. Now I have to be careful for the tank that I see that is incoming. Alright. Okay, doing fine for now. Just gonna get, because I know there are a bunch of turrets incoming there, I'm gonna place a ship there, and the other one I'll keep here. This way I can shoot the tank and also dance a little to increase my rating. Gotta be careful to avoid getting shot, of course, but if you stay back to the left, you have more time to avoid enemy fire. I often see people staying to the right side of the screen, but that's actually a very bad idea, because you can't see, well, yeah, you won't see enemy fire until it's too late, and you barely have any time to react. So keeping vehicles to the left is often a better idea. Alright, mission complete. I got an A rank, not an S rank, but that's still fine. Alright, so that's a vehicle challenge. Some are very much very similar to the original mission, like this one, but some are very different. So when I get a bomber, I'll show you the vehicle challenge for the bomber, because it's quite different from the normal mission. Alright, so let's go on to mission 5. Just without a vehicle again. Alright, so it's night here. Just got this lone turret, so I'm gonna hijack it. And now we see some monsters coming from the right. And so this is the first mission that introduces monsters. And from now on, monsters will be in a lot of... in most other missions, if not all. And so the thing about monsters is that you have to... Well, you have to shoot them, basically, because you can't hijack monsters. Also, doing like this, having some ships providing cover fire, basically, is a good way to dispose of these monsters. They will always target you, they will fly straight to you, so you can often lure them into yeah, your own... the fire of the... how do you call it? Yeah, inside the lasers, as you can see here. So they try to reach me, but they run into these lasers. So these monsters, they're quite weak. They don't do that much damage, and they blow up immediately from one shot. But there are often quite a lot of them, so you really shouldn't ignore them. Like, some people just ignore them, but that's a perfect way to lose, basically. You really have to take them out. So you see what I'm doing here is I place a lot of ships there, so that they provide cover fire, basically. And this large ship, I can't shoot, but it has a lot of HP, so it's perfect to use as a shield, basically. So it will yeah, it will take the bullet for us, and also, you know, any monsters that get past the lasers, so that yeah, so that they don't damage our actual vehicles that actually shoot. Sometimes people, when they play this for the first time, they have a hard time deciding what they should hijack and what they should destroy, but there is no one correct answer. You basically just have to decide for yourself what you think is the best approach. You know, well, making sure that you survive. I see a lot of people just running straight into enemy fire, and I do that as well. But yeah, that's also a good way to lose. At the same time, you shouldn't just run away from enemies. You should just... If you have a lot of vehicles, then you can be a bit more defensive. And like I'm doing now, I'm surrounded by my vehicles, so I'm pretty safe from getting shot. Of course, any safe moment is only for a short time, because whatever vehicle you have, they always blow up very quickly, so it's not like you're safe for a long time. Alright, so I completed this mission. When you know how to tackle these monsters, this one isn't so tough, but for a lot of people playing this for the first time, it can be quite tricky, because a lot of people tend to just hijack every vehicle, or just ignore it if they can't, hijack it. But like I said before, these monsters, they fly straight towards you, so you really can't just ignore them. Let me actually redo this mission to properly show you how these monsters behave. Also, like she's explaining now, we managed to, well, the Resistance, basically, the scientists at the Resistance have created a teleporter we can use now. That way we can summon vehicles from our garage while we're on a mission. We'll receive a score penalty for that, but it's better than losing a mission. So in case you're in a pickle, you should consider summoning vehicles from your garage. So any of these vehicles we can use in a mission then. Alright, we got quite a few of these. Let me just... So like I said, I'm gonna quickly redo this mission. Not entirely, I'm just gonna start it. I just want to show you because I didn't get a chance to do it before, so I'm just gonna ignore the turret for now. So I want to show you how these monsters react. So like I said, you can't just ignore them, because they just keep going towards you. And if you just ignore them, they will all damage your vehicles. So like, I just put one here, and then yeah. So what you should do is place vehicles, and then lure them into... okay, they dodged all these fires by accident. You can also just dance on top here, because they will fly straight into the lasers. Alright, I'm gonna quit this mission now, because I just wanted to show you that quickly. And we're already near the end of the demo. So mission 8 here. So as you notice, 6 and 7 are missing in the demo. Of course, these are in the full game. There are about 40 missions in total, including vehicle challenges. So this is the last one. Let me quickly show you some more of these. It's a shame that I don't have a bomber at the moment. Ah well. So I've shown you this vehicle challenge. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm just gonna do this mission now, and afterwards I will do the vehicle challenge for the bomber if I manage to get one. Alright, so first boss fight. To make it easier, we can use a starting vehicle. You know what? I'm gonna increase the difficulty. Just to show you what it's like. So for me, hard is still very doable. Of course, when I'm talking, I tend to do worse. I mean, so we only have 50 HP, but there are a lot of other differences with the difficulty. So enemy fire rate is slightly higher. The game speed is slightly faster, so the game actually goes a bit faster. And quite some other things, like some enemies are just like the bomb monsters. They are actually faster. So yeah, quite a bit more difficult. So I gotta be more careful, because with 100 HP for these first missions, you have a lot of HP to spare. But with 50, it's a lot more limited. So you see this boss fight. This big monster has a lot of HP. Its health is at the top there, so it has 3000 HP here. And it shoots homing projectiles towards me, so you gotta be careful to dodge these. It's also a good idea to have those projectiles fire away from your vehicles, because they'll quickly die if you don't. Having this big ship there to serve as a shield is also very useful to take those projectiles, basically, because otherwise I wouldn't have all these ships left. That wasn't smart of me. So I hijacked the turret that was about to explode, and then yeah, It exploded. Alright. You can actually shoot the projectile itself, so that can also be a good way to protect yourself. Ooh. Okay, gotta be more careful here. But luckily, the enemy is almost defeated, but we're also nearing the end. If you don't defeat him by the end of the mission, he will run away and you will have failed the mission. So I'm gonna quickly place this there. I'm placing this shield at the top because bombers are flying over, and I don't want my ships to get blown up. And here's a bomber that I can reach, so I'm stealing that one, and hopefully it can survive. Ooh. Until the end of the... So, like with one... Okay, I'm gonna show you... Let's see, here, I quickly did it. So now that we have the teleporter, we can summon vehicles. The summoning icon is actually behind my facecam now, unfortunately. But it shows that we can summon 5 vehicles now. So every time we summon a vehicle, or just when a mission starts, we charge up slowly the teleporter. So yeah, now we can summon 5 vehicles basically. Of course, as you can see, we'll lose. Yeah, it will decrease our score, but not that much. So I'm gonna summon another of these, just so that I have a bit more firepower for these. Ooh, for these purple monsters. But I took a bomb to my face. Luckily, we're quite safe here, below these cargo ships that work as a shield. Alright, so we got an A rank. As you can see here, we got a little bit of a score penalty by summoning that vehicle, but otherwise we still get a good rating. So that's a final mission for the demo. Oh, and something is happening to the sleeping crystal we had. Seems like it's waking up. And it's... Now that it's an active gate stone, we can use it to go into the monster realm. Because it can create a portal towards the monster realm and near the Omega crystal. So now we can get in there by using the vehicles in our garage, because there are no enemy vehicles that we can steal in the monster realm. There are only monsters, and a lot of different monster types than we've seen before. For now, we've only seen one monster type and one, yeah, the boss fight. But this will have to wait for after the for the full game, of course. So here you can see a sneak peek of the monster realm. And that was already it. And now some more sneak peeks of later missions. As you can see here, you may notice that you see a very strong golden ship, and now it's gone because I've placed it inside a pocket dimension. So that's a useful thing you can do later on in the game that isn't in the demo. You can place vehicles inside a pocket dimension, and that's basically perfect for a tank, because tanks can get past walls. But if you place them in a pocket dimension, you can take them with you. And the same with these turrets you see here. You can't move a turret, but you can place it in a pocket dimension and then retrieve it later. And you basically have a movable turret. So see this? The mission you saw there is all about that one. And this mission is all about, yeah, reflective lasers basically. Both the turret and this tank here fire reflective lasers, which is really useful. But yeah, it can be quite hectic to figure out how to aim to reach certain enemies, and also to avoid getting hit yourself. This mission here is all about these weird ships with rotating turrets. So with these ships you can fire in all directions, but yeah, they only rotate when you're not firing, so it's a bit tricky to get used to. This is another mission which is in part is in toxic areas, and this is just about... This is the final stretch actually of that mission, and you just have to survive the onslaught of enemies. Alright, so now it just loops. So that was the demo. Feel free to try it for yourself. You can always contact me. You can always let me know what you think, either on Twitter or just in the Steam forums. So feel free to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to try the demo yourself, and wishlist it if you like it. Alright. Oh, I was gonna do one thing more. I was going to show you the... Oh, did I not? Oh, right. After you complete the demo, it doesn't actually save that mission, so I don't have a bomber even now. That's unfortunate. Ah well. You'll have to try the demo yourself to play the bomber vehicle challenge. Alright, so I'm gonna end this here. Um, bye. Let me... Alright. So, have fun playing Hijack Overdrive.